It's going to get as high as, wait for it, 76. Yay! Yay, sunshine. Well, I don't know if it's going to be that sunny today, but it's at least going to be warm. We got a little bit of clouds going on right now, so make sure as you are preparing to get yourself out the door and ready for your day, you are keeping that in mind. It's going to be warm later on today, but still going to be a little bit of cloud, a little bit of muggy, but a lot of warmth. So keep that in mind. You probably only need your light jacket as you're heading out today. If you have plans to get out the door by 6:30 a.m., just know you got about 20 minutes. And in the morning time, either 20 minutes can be the longest 20 minutes you ever had in your life, or it can go by so quick. So make sure that you get yourself prepared as you are waking yourself on up. Have that smile on your face. Grab your packed lunch out the door and prepare yourself to arrive to this beautiful day. It is currently the very last day of April, y'all. It's amazing how quickly time is going by. It's April 30th here on WURD. Well, it's April 30th everywhere. And we are preparing ourselves for May. May is just around the corner. Literally tomorrow morning we'll be waking up and starting our day in a new month. And what is the new month all about? Well, it's really just about new beginnings, right? It's almost like every single day you get an opportunity to try something new. Every single morning you get an opportunity to change your mindset and think about things in a different way. And every single month you get an opportunity to look at the world a whole new way. As they say, April showers bring May flowers, and I am all about the May flowers coming down the pike. And if anybody else is as excited as I am about the sunshine, I know all of my May babies are getting excited for those birthday celebrations. We got the Mother's Day celebration coming down. We got Memorial Day coming. It's my wedding anniversary this month too. Listen, everything is just coming up. And there's so many festivals. Just the energy is great. So I just want you to just keep in mind that as you are preparing yourself for life and for love and for this experience that you have living in this human body, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You know what I mean? Enjoy it. I want to welcome Mr. Ron to the show. Mr. Ron, thanks for calling in. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, love. I'm glad that love have everything to do with everything. And on Friday, we're going to start it off saying thank you to Brother Aaron. He's not going nowhere. He's just going to another level. And him and Quasia, since he came on that show there. And on this Friday, I'm asking everybody to come out if they can get up there. And even before, after 10 o'clock when the show go off the air, we're going to be saying to Brother Aaron, a wonderful change have come over you. And on that day, I want people to come up and get on the bullhorn and say thank you, Brother Andy, to him and LaQuasia. And that isn't a wonderful thing. And I hope that he will say, maybe not only to us, but say to his family, a wonderful change have come over me. These words, people, make him cry. And in this life, it's a wonderful thing when love is given to you. And that's what we want to do for Brother Ann. Starting on Friday. I'll be out there with the bullhorn, and if you're listening, come on up. You get on the bullhorn and give a shout out. And we'll do it in a proper time because it's early in the morning, at least about 9:30, we're out on the street and let them know about this wonderful man with the skills that he has to show compassion for the elders and all people, but the elders in particular. So please come out and give a shout out to Brother Ann and let us at Germantown Avenue know that this wonderful human being, a young man with the education that he has, but with compassion. Talk to you later, man. Thank you, guys. Come on, let the people come out. Come out and let's do something nice for someone as they live in this life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ron. We appreciate you. So we are ready and willing to step into our next new day. And there is so much change happening all around us. And we are so proud and so appreciative of our opportunity to even experience this change, right? To experience the change of life. Each and every one of us has our own story to tell and our own story to write. And, you know, it's really interesting when you think about it because in our community, there are a lot of barriers, if you will, that kind of make it difficult to get this change going, right? So for some of us, we find ourselves dealing with the consequences of our past, you know, that being a barrier. For some of us who are ready to step into May, we're still thinking about the bills we didn't pay in April. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of challenges that we have to overcome on a daily basis. And how can we do, you know, how can we support ourselves in the best way possible to allow for that change to open up, to allow for that possibility to arise, to allow ourselves to show up in the present moment? You know, there are a lot of difficulties for minority populations, especially for people of color, for Hispanics, for the ethnic and racial minorities that often bear a disproportionately high burden of challenge. And so one of the conversations that we're going to talk about today is around the area of mental health in the Black community. And so this conversation is really important because we know that, among adults with any sort of mental illness, that about 31% of Black folks and 22% of Hispanics tend to be the ones that, need those services and don't have access to them. We know that African Americans statistically are less likely to receive, the consistent care that they need in the mental health space, and are often not included in research, So what we're talking about here is really this access to mental health services, but also the reason why we need them, why we need to be aware of our mental health state, why we need to bring this to the conversation. We're talking about stuff like post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. What's happened in our communities is that these words have become more commonplace, which I think in some ways is a really positive conversation, right? So the fact that I could even say PTSD and most people have heard that before and know what I'm talking about, that's progress. You know what I mean? It's progress in a lot of positive ways. But the challenge that comes with it is like, okay, now that everybody knows what post-traumatic stress disorder is, what are we going to do about it? You know what I mean? What are we going to talk about? How are we going to open up the conversation? How are we going to change our coping mechanisms to mental health stress, right? If we know that minority populations face numerous barriers to the treatment and often are less likely to get the care that we need, what are we going to do to make sure that the consequences of challenges and imbalances in mental health do not become detrimental to our communities? And right now we're really, really dealing with, in some ways a really big challenge, So the answer to, this conversation really includes a lot of folks have a distrust of the healthcare system, right? They have challenges with, finding a provider that they trust, finding somebody that they care about, maybe even having the insurance to cover mental health, right? So people being underinsured for the mental health conversation. So when you say, well, go to a therapist, they may not be able to have that covered in their insurance, or they have a portion of it covered. Let's say a therapist costs $150 an hour, but they can only afford $25, right? So these types of challenges really, really do come to play. People not being culturally competent is a challenge, right? So you may not find somebody who looks like you or comes from your background in that therapy space. So that may be something that stops you from going. Or just the classic, I don't need to go to therapy. Therapy is for crazy white people or rich white people. That's a classic line that people always say. So there's a lot of stigma associated with mental illness, and I'm actually quite excited that many of these stigmas are being confronted these days. Like the conversation is really opening up. As well, we know that there are even sometimes language barriers, right? So even though many of us speak English, some of us do have a different background. We might come from an African nation. We may come from the islands. We may have other cultural, cognizant ways that we speak. So not being fully understood in the therapy space is also a challenge that some folks feel. So there are a lot of factors that I find, and that research shows that prevent minority folks from actually seeking out therapy services and also dealing with their mental health in a lot of ways. And so what we find as a result is that many of our counterparts, many of our community members, they're dealing with their mental health challenges in ways that are not as healthy and not as productive, right? So folks using alcohol as a way to cope. For some folks using promiscuity or sex as a way to cope, right? For some people using gambling, as a way to cope. Other folks using food as a way to cope. So there are a lot of different things that, can happen with these mood disorders and these challenges, especially when you are feeling emotionally distressed, and so many people, not just African Americans, really express these symptoms of emotional distress, and they have difficulty, getting the services that they need. And so one of the things that we can really do to bring this conversation to light is deal with these mental health stigmas and know that as we bring more space for the conversation, that we are opening up the door for more solutions, right? Let's just say that we have a challenge in our system of getting the right mental health screening that we need, and the lack of access to mental health services and the cultural resistance in general in the Black community to even talk about, mental health, needs, and for people of color to actually admit that there's a challenge or a problem and seek care. What can we do about it? What is the challenge? What can we do about it? I want to hear from you. What are you doing about it? Have you had a personal experience where you found out that there was something going on with you that just didn't seem right, and you sought out some sort of, therapeutic services or mental health services, or somebody who needs those services, but you're understanding the challenges that they're facing? Talk to me. Let me know, what are some of those challenges that you're finding, in your community? Do you see a need for mental health services in the Black community? Do you see a need for folks of color to be going to therapy? Do you see a need for some of these mood disorders? Do you know somebody personally who's experienced PTSD and isn't getting the proper support that they need? Do you know alternative ways that folks can get access to mental health resources? Let's share it together, because the way that we make this change, the way that we open up, the way that we create a wave of change is we share resources and we share information. So go ahead and give me a call right now. The number is 215-634-8065. Again, that's 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Allow me to offer you the opportunity to share those resources with the folks listening, because one of the things that we know about our community specifically is that we are about community. We care about one another. We care about everyone. We're not the type of folks that are just going to leave everybody else behind, be like, oh, well, I found something really, really good and I'm just going to keep it for myself. No, we want to share. We want to expand the network. We want to expand the conversation. So if you have resources, if you know somebody, if you have a personal story around mental health challenges, mood disorders, PTSD, or you are seeing this as a problem, like, is this a thing? Are the statistics showing something that we don't agree with? Is this really a challenge that you're seeing in your community? Is mental health a stigma or a taboo? Have you said to somebody in your community, like, oh, yeah, you should definitely, think about going to therapy or doing something? I mean, we have therapy of all other sorts. Like, I'm a massage therapist. Massage therapy, right? That's a form of therapy for the body. You go to water therapy. You go to physical therapy. So we already go to lots of other types of therapies. But when it comes to our mind and therapy for the mind, we don't think that it's an important thing. We just think like, oh, our physical body needs to be taken care of, and so I'm just going to do what I'm expected to do. But let me just let y'all know, like, emotions, that's one of the major things that we need to be talking about, right? Our mindset, yeah, that's something that we need to be talking about. We need to bring all of this to the conversation, and we definitely need to bring it to the conversation for our community, because what we need is slightly different than what everybody else is needing. So keep that in mind. We have a 6:22 a.m. check-in. If you are getting out the door by 6:30, make sure that you do so. You got about 8 minutes to make that happen, lovely people. And don't forget, it's going to be really, really nice later on today. We have a current high of 51 degrees, but later on, it's going to get all the way up to 76 degrees. So make sure as you are preparing yourself for your day, you are getting yourself out the door with a smile and a hug. And even if you got to hug yourself, make sure that you are grabbing your packed lunch and making that happen. I want to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get deeper into the conversation. So let me just let you prepare your mind and your body for this conversation. This is Helana here live on Daybreak. It is currently 6:22 a.m. here in WURD Radio Land, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial. Helana here on Daybreak. Guest hosting for Thera Martin. We'll be right back.
What's cheesy, topped with a fluffy egg and crisp applewood smoked bacon? Easy. McDonald's new $2 breakfast deal. For a limited time, get a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2. And if you're craving something savory and sweet, get a delicious bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for the same price. Hurry in and bite into this tasty deal any day of the week. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal for a limited time only.
Freedom's Journal. The art of Jerry Pinkney is now on view at the Woodmere Art Museum. Master watercolorist and renowned illustrator, celebrated worldwide and featuring over 100 artist illustrations, Pinkney's works presents spirited watercolors and powerful depictions focusing on the civil rights struggle and the pursuit of freedom, including Charles Blockson's groundbreaking escape from slavery, the Underground Railroad. You don't want to miss this. Freedom's Journal, The Art of Jerry Pinkney, now through May 12th. See it today. Visit woodmereartmuseum.org. WordRadio.com. Join Word Radio in partnership with Philly Tech Week for Decoded, a conversation with Sylvester Mobley, Wednesday, May 8th in the new Heim Center for Cultural and Civic Engagement at the Central Library, 1901 Vine Street from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. Doors open at 12:30. Word President and CEO Sarah Lomax-Reese sits down with Sylvester Mobley, founder of Coded by Kids, recognized innovator in tech education, and 2019 winner of the Philadelphia Award, to discuss how we can empower the next generation of tech entrepreneurs. You don't want to miss this innovative and insightful discussion. Seats are very limited, so RSVP today at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. And remember, membership has its privileges. This event will mark your last opportunity to be entered to win our 4Word member-only Mother's Day prize package. Plus, 4Word members will receive priority seating. Not a member? Start or renew your membership today at wordradio.com. Sponsored by Comcast, NBC Universal, and Pico.
Moravia Health Home Care Agency is hosting their first community health fair Saturday, May 4th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stephen Klein Wellness Center, located at 2122 Cecil B. Moore Avenue. Community supporters such as PCA, Philadelphia Fight, PICO, Sedgley Plaza Pharmacy, and the Philadelphia Tribune will be in attendance. The Moravia Health Home Care team will be on site collecting resumes from certified home health aides. That's Saturday, May 4th at the Stephen Klein Wellness Center, 2122 Cecil B. Moore Avenue. Remember, Moravia Health, because there's no place like home.
Now back to Daybreak with Sarah Martin on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live at wordradio.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is Daybreak here with Helana each and every single day, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. here with you live in Radio Land on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 AM dial. Guest hosting for Thera Martin. It's currently 51 degrees outside, getting as high as 76 degrees outside. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Today is Tuesday, April 30th. We're at the end of the month. It's about to be May, y'all. It's about to be change, y'all. It's about to be sunshine, y'all. Make sure you get yourself together. Get yourself ready and willing to take on this beautiful day and take on the new opportunities that are presented before you. Currently 6:26 a.m. If you're getting out the door by 6:30, make sure that you keep us locked, tune us up on your radio in your vehicle. And you know I got this whole secret silent campaign going on. It's not so secret that I'm about to tell you. I think everybody needs to go on Amazon and buy them a new radio. Because it used to be you could just listen to the radio in the house, and I know a lot of people are listening on our WURDradio.com or on our WURD app or listening in live on Facebook Live. But I'm also just like, get you a little radio, because you need to be tuned in all day long on WURD. So either way, make sure you keep us locked as you transition to your vehicle and you make your way to get to work on time. So we have a really beautiful conversation today, and I have here with me in the building Radia Afif, and she is a licensed behavioral specialist. She works in Philadelphia and Montgomery counties for the last 5 years, specifically working with children 5 to 18 about mental health and behavioral diagnosis. And so before we get to the interview, I want to take a quick caller. Miss Sandra is on the line from North Philly. Miss Sandra, how are you?
Fine.
Hi. What's your comment?
I have a question.
Yes.
Where do you go when you legal guardianship or a power of attorney for a person recently diagnosed with autism and they cannot make decisions for themselves? If I 302 him, when I take him there, they say, I tell him he has these different health challenges. They won't do anything because he's 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've gotten a 302. I take him down to 34th and Cedar, 54th and Cedar to this crisis center. And they are really a joke. You go in there, you get them 302, they will stabilize them. They won't stabilize them. They used to. And they used to take them in and get them under control. But now, if the person goes in and just acts normal, they'll release them. They'll get home before you do. And so, this person has gone to the crisis center, told them that he's suicidal, that he wants to kill himself, wants to take somebody with him. And they will say, okay, one guy gave him a token and said, well, go ahead, and put him back out into the street. And so the mental health system is really failing. And I'm just, what are the alternatives? It's just deep.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Sandra. So there are a couple of things kind of floating in that conversation, and it's a great segue into what we're going to talk about this hour. But resources-wise, that one does require some specific expertise, and so I'm not going to lie, I don't have the answer to exactly how to solve that challenge, but I do know that there is a resource that I've recommended multiple times throughout my tenure here at WURD, which is Council for Relationships, so they are a local organization that does offer a lot of services, and folks have had quite a good experience with it. They have 2 locations in the city of Philadelphia. They have one on 40th and Chestnut, and then they have another one on JFK. And so you can just Google Council for Relationships, and I think that might be a really good start to see what types of resources are available to support your conversation. And I will bounce that conversation back around, and we'll see what other resources that we can pull out for folks. But at the very least, give a try with Council for Relationships. They often offer sliding scale information. They have clinical services, they do professional education, they have a lot of research and resources as well available for the mental health community, and they're one of the organizations that many of the therapists that are of color that I know in the city of Philadelphia also recommend as well. So let me go ahead and introduce Radia to the show, licensed behavioral specialist working with children ages 5 to 18 with mental health and behavioral health challenges. Radia, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
It's so nice to have you here with me. So we are live here in the studio, and we have a really, really interesting conversation that's already brewing. So tell me, Radia, a little bit about the work that you do in the community.
So right now, as you stated, I work with children ages 5 to 18, so it's a broad range. In Philadelphia, Montgomery County, I've even worked in Chester County as well over the past 5 years. So my goal is really to work with the child to help them become successful, teach new skills that can include coping skills, strategies to solving conflict, anything like that. And working with those children, I can work with them in the home, in the school, in the community. So I'm really collaborating with the parents, the teachers, the community leaders, if they're in any after-school programs. So I'm really, everywhere that child is, I can go and I can collaborate with those folks, because at the center of it is the child, but there are so many other layers outside of that that also need to be incorporated for that child to be successful.
And so what are some of those layers that need to be addressed that maybe, the folks listening, caregivers, aunties, uncles, grandparents, parents, teachers, what are some of those layers that they may not be aware of?
I would definitely say that, the parenting styles or just what the child is being exposed to. So the behavior or even just the mental health of the parent or caregiver, of the teachers, the school social workers, the counselors. We just have to be aware that the children are watching us. They learn from us. And then when they're in the household of someone who may have mental health issues that aren't addressed, the kids can pick up some of those behaviors that we may not want to see. And then, they get labeled in the school as that's the bad kid, or that's the kid that always has issues and things like that. And I feel like sometimes people aren't really taking the time to dig deeper and say, well, why? Why is this child acting this way? Why is this child doing these certain things? And we put a lot of blame on the child when we have to also look at those other layers. It's not just the child that needs to do the work. They have to do work, the parents have to do work, the school staff needs to do the work.
That's incredible. And I love that because, that's such a holistic model of looking at it. I think a lot of times in our systems we look at children that act out as the problem.
Definitely.
And what you're alluding to, really saying quite plainly, is like, yeah, but the children are just a product of the parents. They're a product of the structures. They're a product of the systems. They're a product of the school or their environment, whatever they've been exposed to, even a product of the media, right? And so what exactly can the caregivers, teachers, educators, and parents listening, what are some kind of first steps or tips that folks can, use that you may suggest, especially because, and I want to add this to it, because you're spending your time in sessions with young people, ages 5 to 18, those are one-on-one sessions that you do with the young people.
Right.
Parents are not in those rooms, so kind of tell us, like, what are you noticing about what the kids are talking about that maybe, like, parents would be surprised to hear?
I think that kids are really saying that they're not being listened to. The parents aren't listening. You know, a lot of people have kind of an old style of parenting where they feel like a child should be seen and not heard.
Right.
Or
right.
I'm the adult, do what I say, don't ask questions. But how can you expect someone to learn new behavior or to navigate the world when they're not allowed to ask questions? Maybe they need to know why you have certain rules or why you're doing a certain thing, and it's not always that the child is being disrespectful, but maybe they are just inquisitive and they want to know so that next time they can have a solid foundation for why I shouldn't do this or why I have to follow these certain rules. So I definitely think number one is listening, maybe just sitting down, not being defensive as a parent or caregiver or teacher or whatever it is that you are in that role, but just listening to what the child has to say and how they feel and how they are, you know, talking about themselves or their lives and things like that. And then I would say the next thing would be to check yourself. Point blank, you have to look at yourself and see what are you doing and how you are contributing either positively or negatively to these behaviors.
That that is the truth. Okay, let me just find out. You telling the parents to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes.
No, but really, that's really true. Why do you find that to be such a key component in the change that we want to see in our children? What is there about parents needing to parents and caregivers and adults kind of needing to check themselves?
Well, parents or caregivers are the first teachers. Right? Children spend a lot of time with that parent or caregiver, so they're really learning, you know, some behavior and how to function in the world from their parents initially before they go to school. So I think that it's important that a parent is checking themselves because the child is looking at them. This is my parent. This is the person who takes care of me, gave birth to me. So this is the person that I'm most likely going to follow and look at their behavior and see what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and that's how I'm going to move as well. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's important for a parent to check themselves. And a lot of times when I work with these children and these families, I really have to do a lot of work with the parents. And once I see the work with the parents is effective, then I see the behavior start to change in the child.
Yep, 100%. That's exactly what I was imagining as you were saying it. So for the parents who are listening who are like, ooh, okay, you kind of got me there. You're right. I might, you know, go off, or I might be snapping off at the clerk, or I might be on the phone yelling at somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
like,
I got you.
What are some of those behaviors that are not best practices that you see parents doing that, you know, they may want to be aware of?
I would definitely speak to the beatings. So I'm not for or against it. But I would say that some people believe that you can beat it out of a child, and that's not always the case, because a lot of times you're just putting fear into your child. They're scared of you. They don't want to mess up because they don't want to get a beating, but when they go to school, when they're in the community, that does not transfer because they don't have the respect. So it's just like, okay, I'm fearful that I might get in trouble, but I don't really have the respect for other adults, so then they still can run into issues. And then also with beating a child, you're not teaching them anything new. So, you know, they may continue to engage in those same behaviors that you're seeing. So I definitely think that is one thing. And, you know, how you talk to a child. Some people don't realize that our tone can be very antagonistic, right? So a child may be doing something, you say, well, if you were listening, then you would have got this. And that's almost antagonizing, and every child is not going to back down and just say, oh, you're right, I should have listened. They might get, you know, smart with you or have an attitude or whatever the case may be, and that's a lot of really what I see in the school too, but definitely with parents in the home. So I would say that children are human beings. They have feelings, they have ideas, and we definitely don't want to just brush it off because they're 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever the age is. We should definitely, you know, listen to them. Just going back to that, listen to what they have to say and don't just brush them off because they're children.
100%, 100%. You mentioned something a little bit earlier that I want to kind of circle back to, which was parents checking themselves. So if you're a parent who maybe is doing this antagonistic behavior, right, and it is deeply ingrained in our culture, like let me just throw it out there that we not only talk to our children like that, but we talk to our partners. We talk to each other.
Yes.
You know, it's like part of the culture. Be like, well, dang, girl, if you was listening, you would have heard what I said. Right? So those behaviors those words that we choose, the way we talk to each other, is very likely how we also are talking to our kids.
Yes.
Right? And so if you're somebody who's listening and is like, okay, yeah, I do that. I definitely get smart with people. I definitely call them out. But I think it's helpful. I think it's the way that, we build conversation, that we build community. And you're finding that what Radia is talking about are behaviors that you're employing. For those folks listening, how exactly can they check themselves in that moment if that's the only communication style that they're familiar with?
I definitely think, like I mentioned already, the first step to that is realizing that that's what you're doing, right? Because if we don't realize that we're doing certain things, we're not going to change it or address it. So realizing that you're doing that, and then in the moment, sometimes we just have to be quiet for a second. Everything doesn't have to be immediate. Your response doesn't have to be immediate. Take a few seconds. Stop, think, act. That's something that I teach my kids. So you need to stop, think about what you're doing, and then you can act. So that gives you a few seconds to just process. All right, is this the right way to say this? Will this maybe trigger something in the other person? Is it helpful? Is it harmful? And just really assessing in that moment. Take a few seconds. Assess what you're going to say and then say it. It takes practice. It's going to take time. But I definitely think that it's obtainable.
Mm-hmm. And I think what you're really saying at the core of it is like us as a community, we need to be checking our conversations across the board, because the way that we talk to each other is the way that we talk to our children, is, I find, also the way we talk to ourselves.
Right.
So all of these conversations that we have such an antagonistic, tone to them, that we're always almost kind of like, don't make any mistakes. We can't afford to make mistakes. And,
Right.
That does trickle over, into the way that we interact with our young people. We are speaking with Radia Afif, a licensed behavioral specialist working here in Philadelphia and Montgomery counties for the last 5 years, specifically working with children ages 5 to 18 with mental health and behavioral health challenges, working with the families, the schools, and the community leaders. And she's going to stick around with us after the break, but we're going to take a quick break. This is Halana here live on Daybreak with you each and every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial. And we are going to continue the conversation. Don't forget, if you're trying to get out the door by 7 a.m., it's about 6:40. So make sure that you manage your time and get out the door with a smile and with your packed lunch, and enjoy this day. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. When it comes time to replace your old appliances, make sure the new ones you buy are high-efficiency Energy Star certified. You'll get a rebate from Pico and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new appliance rebates at pico.com/rebates, or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and energy-saving light bulbs at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
You know we don't play when it comes to our mothers, and if we could give them the world, we definitely would. This Mother's Day, celebrate your mother in a way she'll never forget. Start or renew your Forward membership between now and May 8th and be entered to win our exclusive Forward Mother's Day prize package, which includes a pair of tickets to the Mother's Day Music Fest in Atlantic City, Saturday, May 11th, featuring Maze with Frankie Beverly, Christopher Williams, Kem, and Al B. Shore, a gift certificate to Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, dinner for two at Green Soul Restaurant in downtown Philadelphia, and an overnight stay at the Cambria Hotel Philadelphia downtown. Don't miss this opportunity to create some special memories with Mom. To be entered to win, start or renew your 4WURD membership between now and May 8th by calling 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com. A place like home 2, located 2276 Georges Lane, provides a clean and active environment for seniors, including referrals, daily cognitive therapy, podiatry, exercise, arts, and crafts. Call 215-878-1200 now. Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Indeed.com. An accident on the Lincoln Drive has been cleared southbound south of Rittenhouse. The good news there as we move on this morning. Schuylkill Expressway eastbound, busy Blue River to Belmont, Jam Montgomery to Spring Garden, westbound to Lee University through South Jam Boulevard to Belmont. Again, Gladwin at the Conshohocken accident there, now off to the shoulder. Southbound 95. Added jam from Betsy Ross down through Girard. Northbound side, no major problems. 42 northbound, 168 through 295. Heavy 55 jam northbound Deptford into 42. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now back to Daybreak with Thera Martin on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live at wordradio.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Helena here live on Daybreak, each and every day with you, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. live on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial. And it is a beautiful day. It is currently Tuesday, April 30th, the end of the April month. Tomorrow is May 1st, y'all. It's really happening. We are moving on through. Currently 51 degrees outside, getting about as high as 76 degrees later on. So make sure that you are prepared for that nice weather. It might be a little bit gray outside, but it will be warm. As you're getting out the door today, you got about 15 minutes till the 7 o'clock hour hits, so make sure that you are using your time wisely this morning. And as you're transitioning to your car, keep us locked on your radio on 96.1 or 900 AM on 900 on your AM dial. In addition, make sure you are getting out the door with a good smile on your face if you're getting your family ready and all of that good stuff. Even if you're just waking up with us, make sure that you give yourself a smile. That's one of the gifts that cost nothing. Free 99. We can give each other a smile, and especially in the morning when everybody's rushing and stressed out, go on ahead and take a moment and smile. And if you can, give a hug too, because that's the best way to wake up each and every single day. Quick announcement, this week is actually Vegan Restaurant Week, and so you can be going around the city, and a lot of restaurants are offering a special menu item or prefix vegan menu at that establishment. And so if you have any questions about it, you can just Google Philly Vegan Restaurant Week, and you can find out about it. It started on Sunday, April 28th, and goes all the way until Saturday, May 4th. So if you're thinking about trying a plant-based item or plant-based meal, or you're going out this week after work for happy hour for dinner, try it out. You know, it's nothing bad, but nothing wrong with getting that vegan plant-based eating on. And Restaurant Week is a great time to do it because everything is a little bit cheaper, and so you can check out some restaurants around the city that have a plant-based menu. So we are speaking this morning with Radia Afif, who is a licensed behavioral specialist working here in Philadelphia and the Montgomery County for the last 5 years, specifically working with young people ages 5 to 18. Radia, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we were talking before the break about, you know, the idea that parents need to be sometimes checking themselves because what the young people need these days is a little different, you know, than what maybe we may have needed. Or maybe we needed it too, but our parents weren't aware and the conversation, you know, hadn't expanded so much. What are you noticing, you know, that's kind of on trend? Like, what can you share with the folks in the mental health space that either you're noticing personally or, you know, your work has shown as something we need to be aware of that's changing in the mental health space for people of color?
I would definitely say social emotional issues. So we have a lot of children that I see that aren't really able to deal with, you know, stress or change and transition and things like that. So when I go into a school, it could be a classroom of 30 kids and maybe 20 of those children have those issues, you know, whereas though the teacher, there's a change in the day, the child is crying or, you know, running around the classroom or not following directions. the social interactions. They don't know how to, be friends with one another, and they're arguing, they're fighting. Not that that is not something normal, but I feel that I'm just seeing that a lot more with our children, and how to connect with each other. They feel like, we're friends, but we're going to talk about each other all day long in a negative manner, and they think that it's just joking. And I try to explain to them that's not the way that you really interact with your friends. So I definitely see a lot of emotional issues that aren't being addressed. These children aren't being taught skills on how to really deal with it, and sometimes how to express it, because it comes out as anger when it might really be sadness or disappointment or things like that. So I would say that is the number one trend that I'm really seeing, is that our children aren't able to really deal with their emotions, and definitely are having struggle connecting with their peers.
And so as far as resources for that conversation, do you know of any resources either for the children or for the parents?
Definitely. Just speaking about myself, I wrote a book in March. It's called How to Train Your Parents.
Oh, wait, pause. That sounds like a book everybody needs to read.
Yes.
Okay,
and I know some people might, be a little offended by the title, but it's really just meant as a joke, because sometimes children do train the parents. A child cries, you hop up, you're like, well, what do you need? What do you need to do? So that was really kind of the basis behind that title.
Right.
And it's a parent's guide to managing challenging behavior. And really what I try to do is take my years of experience, my years of education, and kind of put it into a simple book. It's really quick. It's about 30-something pages. I make the terms really simple so that anybody can understand it. I talk about what is behavior, what is the function of behavior. I also list interventions, so some simple things, some things that may be a little harder for people, but I write out what are some interventions or some things that I can do in the home that will help with my child, or things like that. I have affirmations in the book, because this is not to downplay parents or to beat them down and say, hey, you're not doing a good job. This is a support. This is a resource for them that they can take, they can read, and they can understand. Also in my book, I talk about what is a behavior specialist, what is a TSS, what is a mobile therapist. So parents can really understand that, because I see that even working with some of my parents who have had behavioral health and mental health services for years, they don't really know what the role is. Oh, you're just coming to my house to babysit my kid. I'm going to go upstairs. You can sit downstairs. But I wanted to really just provide education and do it in kind of a simplistic format with the book. In addition to that, I also have a community group called Girls Retreat. And we meet once a month. It's for girls ages 8 to 12 at Longcrest Recreation Center up in the Northeast. And we really talk about physical, emotional, social development. So we have a different topic each month. We talk about it. And I really just wanted to create a safe space for our young people to talk, because sometimes we don't want to talk to our parents or our aunties or grandmom. Sometimes we may want to talk to a stranger, that we feel like we can open up to, and there isn't going to be any judgment. So I have those two resources. And I would say for anyone looking for additional resources, if you have a primary care physician, you can ask them when you go in for your visit or for your child's visit. They have a lot of local health centers that will have those services or just those resources. And right now we're in the technology age. Google behavioral health services, mental health services. You can put in your zip code and you'll find the things that the agencies, that are closest to you. And I'm sure some people might have reviews, so you can kind of check that out. But I definitely just want to say that advocate for yourself, because we had the caller come in earlier. She's saying that these places are really not doing what they're supposed to do. Advocate for yourself. If they're not doing what you need to do, keep going back. Contact your state representative. Let people know that you're not just going to push me to the side. I'm here. I need this service, and this is what I'm going to get.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. So, and remind me again the name of your book?
It's How to Train Your Parents, a parent's guide to managing child behavior. And that is available on Amazon. And you can put my name in, Radia, R-A-D-H-I-A, last name A-F-I-F.
Perfect. That's great. For those of you listening in that want to weigh in on the conversation, please do give a call in. The number is 215-634-8065, 215-634-8065, 215-634-8065. Let us know, how you're finding this conversation helpful. Is this a conversation you want to hear more about mental health in the community, about how to connect with our children, about the social and emotional challenges that we're experiencing as a collective community, and ways that we can really bring that conversation to the forefront and really make some serious changes. One of the things that we know that are deeply ingrained in our community as people of color is that element of communication. Like, we know how to talk, okay? We know how to talk to one another. We know how to get our needs met, and so we know that our conversation is one of the crucial components of having that positive mindset, that positive mental health space, and making room to allow people to ask questions, and knowing that just because somebody's asking you a question doesn't mean that they are questioning you, right? Like this idea that you can address the idea, not the person, right? And so I think a lot of us, in that older kind of sense, we have challenges with separating that and being like, well, you're questioning me. Don't question me. I'm the authority. I pay bills around here. You shouldn't have anything to say. Yeah. Times have changed a little bit, and you know what? I will say, for me as a young person, I think I probably did have a lot of questions that I wanted to ask my parents that I was just too scared to ask, and that created challenges later on that I had to deal with. And even our nieces and nephews, we have to do the same thing with them, is make space for conversation, because we know that where you have conversation, you create understanding, right? And so that's one of the main things that we want to do. Radia, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. Remember, if you want to catch her online, you can just Google her book, How to Train Your Parents, A Parent's Guide to Managing
Child Behavior.
You can get it on Amazon. And how much is it, the book?
$12.99.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, y'all. You need to get this book. It's $12.99. That is not that's like one trip to McDonald's. And I don't advocate for McDonald's, but I know y'all be going there anyway. So that's like one trip to McDonald's, and this book could definitely have some resources for you to really help you build relationships with your young people. So it is almost time for the close of the show. If you are aiming to get out the door by 7 a.m., you got about 5 minutes to make that happen. So go ahead and collect yourself and get ready. If you are just waking up with us, make sure that you tune in tomorrow early on, because we got good shows planned for you, good interviews, always good content. You know me, I am the health and wellness expert on the team, self-care strategist in the building, and I love to bring you conversations that are going to inform you, that are going to inspire you, that are going to educate you around all areas of wellness. So not just mental wellness, not just physical health, not just emotional health, also socially, financially, really bringing those conversations to the forefront. So you can always, you just know that's what you're always going to get from me, is some version of wellness, so that you can better yourself and be your best self and really show up in the world in a way that is meaningful and that you are proud to be able to do. This is Helana here, live in the building with you each and every single day, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial. Sharing all that good word, making sure that you get everything that you need. What a beautiful day we have today. It is currently Tuesday, April 30th. Here, 51 degrees outside and getting as high as 76 degrees. I want to thank you all so much for your time today and for your energy. And I appreciate each and every single one of you right now. You know what? You have yourself a great day. And remember this last one little bitty thing. No matter who or what comes your way today, the love, the peace, and the joy that you seek, it lives inside of you. And in my heart, I know that it will. I will see you all tomorrow.
I'm Mama Dietz. At Dietz & Watson, we've spent